Hello, and welcome. Welcome to Quilt Conversations live here on Amazon Live and on YouTube. Hello to my YouTube friends. All right, let me check my audio. Okay, hopefully that's better. Let me know in the chat. I think I see you there, Elaine, on YouTube. Are you out there, Elaine? Okay. Is the audio okay? I just want to make sure because I'm hearing a little bit of echo on my side, and I don't want you to have audio problems on your side. So give me a hello. Sounds fine. Okay, great. And hello to those watching on Amazon Live. I'm so glad you're here again on Geraldine Wilkins, the Living Water Quilter. We are going to have an interesting time looking at supplies that we can use for making face masks. Have you made a face mask in the last couple of years? You, Elaine, on YouTube. How about you, ladies, watching on Amazon Live? I've made a few. I made some for myself and I made some for family members. And there's so many different ways that you can make a face mask. And I want to share with you some of the supplies that I use for making masks. There are two different types I'm going to talk about tonight. And this is the first one. This is the first one that I made. And I have fabric here. There's a lining. And I used a template. And I used other supplies like this plastic, what do you call it? It's a like a toggle. It has a spring in it so that you can pull the cord so that you can lock it in place. So we're going to talk about that too. And I'm going to highlight all of this in the carousel for those of you watching on Amazon so you can see exactly the tools that I used. So Elaine says she's made hundreds of masks. So that means you must be making them and giving them away to family and friends. I think a lot of us have done that who sew. We were called on by our friends and family to help them with masks when they were in short supply. So here we go. Let's look at the first technique. The first technique is this one, and I used a template. I used a template that I found, and many are available. It's a paper template. So I downloaded this paper template, but it's regular office paper. I use my workforce printer, which I just highlighted in the carousel. I use my home printer to print out, download, and I printed out it with my printer. But it's a flimsy paper, and you need to put this template on top of fabric. So I have done two things to help make the template stronger. And I'm going to go to my overhead camera so you know what I'm talking about. Let me do that. Here's my overhead camera. So here's the template. And there's a lining fabric and a main fabric. And it tells you all the instructions on this particular pattern that's supplied by Craft Passion. So if you're on YouTube and you want to get this template for this mask, just go to the YouTube description box below the video and you'll find the uh, where you can get this particular template. But what I want to talk about is this freezer paper. I use this freezer paper after I printed it out on my home machine. I used my freezer paper, now highlighted in the carousel, to make this a rigid template. So here's the paper. This is the office supply paper. And you won't be able to use it multiple times very easily if you just use the paper. So I take freezer paper and I make it almost into like hard cardboard. It becomes cardboard when you use 2 layers of freezer paper. And that's your regular freezer paper that you get in the kitchen area, kitchen supplies. And so I made several of these templates, one for the main fabric and one for the lining. I already pre-cut so I can demo for you how this freezer paper works. So I use these scissors, and I like these scissors, not my fabric scissors. So these are my fabric scissors, which I'll show you in the carousel on Amazon. If you're watching, join us, say hello. I'm going to highlight these scissors. These are Ginger scissors. They are made for fabric only, not for cutting paper. So I won't use these scissors. But it's always good to have. Hello, Wilda. How are you from Williamsburg, watching from YouTube? So glad you joined us. Instead of using these scissors, my fabric scissors, I'm going to use my good paper scissors. Do you have good paper scissors? These are from Fiskars. They're called titanium scissors. Let me show you in the overhead camera. They're Fiskars titanium scissors. Can you see that? Hopefully you can see that. And these are made, they're sharp. They're made for cutting cardboard and paper. And I like these scissors. Let me highlight them in the carousel. See if I can find them here. If you're interested on Amazon on how to get these, you just have to go to the carousel below the video. I just highlighted it in the carousel. Those on YouTube. When we are watching on Amazon, you can get quick access to any of the tools that I talk about as I demo each project. So these are Fiskars scissors. These are the titanium, and they're made specifically for cutting paper and cardboard, sharp scissors. So I have a good pair of scissors for fabric, and I have a good pair of scissors for cutting paper and cardboard. So now I cut out the pattern, but not very close to the pattern line. I left some extra space around the pattern because I want to be able to have that space available for the freezer paper. So that's cut out very loosely. Then I take my freezer paper and I put the pattern piece down. Make sure I have enough freezer paper so I can get 2 layers. I want 2 layers of freezer paper. So I'm going to use my paper scissors. So I'll put that over there. So freezer paper has 2 layers. There's a shiny side and there's a dull side. So I'm going to take the shiny side. I'm going to fold this in half. Make sure I have enough for my pattern, which I have plenty. Yes. Let's go to the freezer paper and the carousel. So I'm going to cut the freezer paper in half so I have 2 layers. So both of the shiny sides are up, right? I want to put the dull side to the shiny side. And I want to be able to press those together. When you use a hot iron, these two will stick together. Then you're going to take your pattern piece and you're going to put it on the shiny side. So this is the shiny side. This side is going to stick when you apply heat to your pattern piece. When you do that, you get this cardboard-like feeling. It makes this heavyweight template. It makes a heavyweight template. Now, of course, you can put as many layers of freezer paper as you want. If 2 layers are not enough, just add another layer so that you can be able to use the template over and over again. So we're using freezer paper to help us make our templates, our paper templates, more rigid. And you just need to apply multiple layers on the back of your template to make it a rigid. See how this one is just, you can even see the ink from the back, right? On this one you can't because it has multiple layers of freezer paper. Now this is rigid and ready to be used. Hello, Teresa. So glad you're here. Nice to see you. Have you ever used freezer paper in this way? Teresa is saying hello on Amazon. Yes, I'm so glad that you're here. Now, of course, you can use this for any kind of template that you're making, not just for masks. You can use it for any template that you want to use over and over again. A lot of times when we sew and quilt, we download patterns that are paper patterns. What if you applique and you want to be able to use it over and over? All you need to do is get some freezer paper and put multiple layers, as many layers as you think necessary to make it into this nice rigid piece of paper that you can use over and over again. And you always want to have the shiny side, dull side, shiny side, and then you use a hot iron and they will stick together. Remember, if you put 2 sides together that are shiny, they will stick together, yes, because that's the side that's going to stick, and it's not going to mess up your iron. If you're wondering, is it going to damage your iron? No, because you're going to press on the paper side, not the shiny side, always on the dull side. If you put them shiny sides together, you will not have a side for your template to stick to. So pay attention to that. Hello, B. How are you? I'm so glad you're here. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here on YouTube. Ladies, no, you haven't, but all right. What are you making? I am making a template on Amazon. Teresa's asking, what am I making? This is a face mask that I made using this template. And it was downloaded as a full sheet of paper. Full sheet of paper. Then I took my cutting scissors for paper. Scissors for cutting paper and cardboard. These are my Fiskars titanium scissors. Once I cut that, you don't cut close to the template line. You leave some extra space because you're going to put multiple layers of freezer paper. And when you add multiple layers of freezer paper, you're going to put shiny side, dull side, shiny side. The shiny side is what's going to stick to the dull side. So you're always going to put your iron on the dull side, and the shiny wax side is going to stick to this side, which is the dull. Now you've made 2 layers when you apply heat. Then you take your paper template On the shiny side, you're going to fix that there and then turn it over and apply heat. And then this template is going to stick to the freezer paper. When you're done, then you take your scissors and cut along the pattern line. That's what you do. You don't cut too close before you apply the freezer paper. Now this is rigid and ready to go. Oh, you like that idea, Elaine. I'm so glad you like that freezer paper. You probably didn't think that freezer paper would be used for sewing and crafting. I certainly didn't. I love it. So this is what I use to make my face mask. This is the face mask, and this is the template. Now, you also notice that I have some extra things on here. I have an adjustable piece of twine on here. This is actually craft cord. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So there is the craft cord. This is craft cord, Bonnie's craft cord. I'll highlight this in the carousel. For those of you who are watching on Amazon, this is the 2mm craft cord. It comes in multiple colors. And when I made my first mask, which is this one, I wanted to have adjustable straps. I wanted to be able to take off the mask and still have it on me without having it go around my ears. And so I used that. And at some point, I thought, well, what can I use? I looked in my sewing room and I found my Bonnie's craft cord. And I found that I had multiple colors. So I have this beige, I have this pink, and I have some purple. Lots of colors. Let me go to the overhead camera. Let's see. Overhead camera, here we go. So with this craft cord, of course, that you can get a lot of rope cord for your mask for this. And then you can use different colors. And you can knot it at the end, run it through. For this particular mask, it has a lining. I liked having a lining where I can, and a filter where I can put a filter through it. So this one has a little lining in it. But then there's this casing, and that's where the Bonnie's craft cord goes in that makes it adjustable. And this part goes over the head. So this part of the cord goes over the head. Let me move this here. So this part goes over the head right here. And this part goes around the neck. And then you see this part here. I'm going to highlight this in the carousel so you can see what that is. These are, let's see. Where are they? Okay, there are these. I'm sure you've seen them before. You've seen them on lanyards, and these are spring release clips. So you put the cord through the hole. You put the cord through the hole, both ends, and this part you are able to move it. When you press it down, you can move the cord. Let me do it this way. When I release, it stays in place. So you push, adjust, and then it stays in place. You push it in, adjust, and then it stays in place. So I like the idea of having that for my cord. And these are available. You get many inside one package, and so you can use it for multiple masks. I like using these for adjustable masks. I guess sometimes it depends on the situation. Hello, how are you? I have someone in YouTube who wants to say hello. I'm going to remove that user. It's not playing nice. So this is one version. There are so many different versions of masks that you can make. And so I like this one because of the ability to adjust it and to put it over my head rather than around my ears. And I use this spring-loaded piece right here. Let me get this up on my sewing supplies on my Amazon page. We can go to that and take a look at that. Let's take a look. Here we go. These are the single hole spring-loaded elastic drawstring rope. It locks the ends, and you can use it for lanyards. You can use it for a lot of different things. And all you have to do is put the cord in through the hole, and it's easy to attach if this is a type of a face mask that you want, something with an adjustable strap. I think that we can have different options for adjustable straps. It depends on your preference. You know, this one uses the Bonnie Craft cord, which comes in many colors. It has this spring-loaded lanyard rope clip at the end, and that part goes around your neck. So this was with the paper template pattern, where there are so many different options that we can use to make a face mask, right? So these are some of the supplies. We talked about the Bonnie's Craft cord, if that's the kind that you want, adjustable. We talked about being able to make our own pattern template by downloading a template and then creating a very rigid template using freezer paper. Now we're going to look at one where you actually use a template, and I'm going to highlight that in the carousel for those watching on Amazon. It is the Creative Grids mask template. I have that right here. This is the Creative Grids mask template. Let's look at it on the overhead camera. So here is the Creative Grids mask template. It has instructions on it for the elastic sizes that you need. It comes in 3 different sizes, and you can see that by the edge of the template: small, medium, and large. It has the grip edge that Creative Grids is known for. And this grip system is our seam allowance on the template. So it's 3 sizes that you can get with this one template. Whereas when we make our own, we would have to print out and cut the paper for 3 different sizes. That means you would have 3 sets of templates. In this case, you only have this one template to make 3 different sizes. It comes with instructions, step-by-step instructions on how to put the mask together, how to cut, how to put your fabric together, how to pin and sew it. So I'm going to demo that for you right now. Oh, so Elaine, you use this template. You use this Creative Grids template. So basically, again, you're going to follow the instructions and you put fabrics right sides together. I'm using a rotating mat. I'm using a little mini rotating mat, which is perfect for cutting out fabric when you're using a template. That way I can get to every single side of the template. I'll highlight this for those watching on Amazon. You can get a kit that includes a rotating template, this small size. This is 6 inches. 6 inches by 6 inches. And you can get a small rotary cutting blade, a 28 millimeter rotary cutting blade, which is perfect for cutting these curves. So I love using a rotating mat. So let's do that. The fabrics are right sides together, and this 28 millimeter is perfect for cutting this curve. Okay. Now, of course, I can use a larger 45 millimeter to make the bigger cuts. I'm going to highlight in the carousel for those who want to look into getting this smaller one. This smaller one can, of course, cut all the different sides, right? Of course, it just takes a little bit longer because it's a smaller blade, but it still can cut. Or you can take out a larger one. This is a 45 millimeter blade. Always put on the safety when you put that down. This is now safe. It won't injure. This is now to cut. If you've never used a rotary cutter before, this is how you release the blade. You pull down. The safety now is on. Lower the safety. Now it's available for cutting. And you can see how handy it is to have this rotating mat. Let me turn this. Now for this curve, when I'm using the larger blade, if you angle, instead of going up like this, if you angle it to the side, it makes the cutting easier. Turn that. And you turn it as necessary. And this is all ready to go. Got one little piece there. So now I have 2 pieces cut for the lining. You get to decide what's going to be your lining and what's going to be on the outside. And so these are the 2 pieces that will now be sewn together. Because I had them right sides together, it was ready to sew my 1/4 inch right along the edge. So I have some stages for you to show you what that looks like as you sew. But again, the instructions are in the template when you pick it up. So once you do that, you want to sew that 1/4 inch along the edge. Then you want to clip that curve. You don't want to cut into the seam, of course, right? Get out your fabric scissors. These are my Ginger's fabric scissors, and then you just snip. And this will help it to lay flat. You snip just a little bit all the way around where you can see that I did some snipping there. After you snip, then you can open this up. Now, this is a little extra step. This is not called for in the pattern, but I like to do a little top stitch. Hopefully you can see that on camera. I did a top stitch. That just is an extra stitch after I did the clipping that holds this seam down. It'll be very strong and sturdy when you do that extra top stitch, and it actually looks pretty good. So that is the lining. So you do exactly the same thing with the front. You're going to use the template again with the fabric that you want to be on the outside that everyone will see. You're going to do 2 layers together, right sides together, and you're going to cut. Now I use some specialty fabric to make it just a little bit more fun and interesting. So this is the fun fabric that I used with some arrows on it. And I did the same thing. I did a top stitch after it was cut. I did the snips along the edge so that this would lay nice and flat. See those snips? Okay, and then you take this outside and you take the lining, you take the two together, and you're going to put them right sides together. And the instructions are going to show you exactly what to do. See how they're lining up just perfectly? And then you pin and you pin. And the next stage is this right here. So this is the outside. This is the lining. They give you all the instructions. It goes together very quickly. Then you need to have, this is another version, you need to have some elastic for your ears. This particular type is different than the first. This pattern, this template pattern calls for you to use elastic. And I got some fun elastic. Look at that pretty color. I don't know if you can see that color. It matches the fabric. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to go back to host view. So I have some fun banded elastics that are in multiple colors. This is the neutral variety pack. I'll highlight this in the carousel. It's by Shabby Fabrics. Okay, so they have 3 different sets. So this is the neutral. And the neutral has 8 different colors, black to gray to beige and creams all the way to white. Then the pastel variety pack also contains 8 different colors, 4 yards in each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 colors. I'll show these up close too with my overhead camera. And then, aren't these pretty colors? These are the bright colors. Again, 8 and 4 yards of each color. Let me go to the overhead camera so you can see these wonderful colors. So these are the Shabby Fabric colors. I'm going to highlight this one now. This one is the banded elastic bright variety pack. And this one has 8 soft elastic. And it is very soft around your ears. And each color has 4 yards. So this is the bright colors. Bright orange, blue, red, yellow, another softer blue, green, purple, and I guess it's lilac. Is that lilac? You love the bright colors, Elaine. Yes, aren't they pretty? I love them. The pastels are also kind of pleasing too. If you like pastels, I like having these 2 options. See the difference between the 2? These darker brights and then these soft pastels. I'll highlight the pastels in the carousel for those watching on Amazon. And welcome, unmute, and join the conversation. I'm Geraldine Wilkins, and we're talking about supplies that we can use to make face masks. We are still making masks. Yes, we are. Sewers are still making masks, and we can get supplies to help us make it easy to do. So we have the pastel variety pack, and again, 8 different colors, and each one has 4 yards. So it's hard to choose which one. Look at the neutrals. Are you making some for the men in your life, for the young men in your life, your sons, your nephews? They might like these neutral colors as opposed to these pastels. Perhaps. I'm not sure. I guess it just depends. But it's nice to have a variety to go with your face mask. So I'll highlight that again in the carousel. I love these banded elastic. Banded elastic. They're 1/6 of an inch. 1/6 of an inch. Let me hold that up for you so you can see that. 1/6 of an inch banded elastic pastel variety pack by Shabby Fabrics. So I, of course, found some colors that matched my focus fabrics. And one thing I wanted to mention to you, perhaps when you do this, you need to press this down, right? After it's sewn this 1/4 inch, you want to press that. And how do you press it? There are 2 ways you can do that. You can use a roller. Have you ever used one of these rollers before? I'll highlight it in the carousel. This is a seam roller so that you can roll a seam very gently without stretching the fabric. And you just do a little bit at a time. A little bit at a time. Let me move this template. So this is a handy tool to have. Do you have one of these, Elaine or Wilda? Watching over on YouTube, I love having a seam roller when I want to be able to press a seam without stretching it. So this will do that. You can use this roller. It's a seam roller. It presses down the seam so that you don't stretch the fabric. And this is ideal for doing the masks. It has a plastic handle with a wooden roller. This is a wooden roller. And I just keep this right by my sewing machine because it comes in handy whenever I need it. So Elaine says that she loves the bright colors, and then you have a mini one of these rollers. Okay, you like that, and you want them to go with your favorite fabric, your cafe fabric. And Wilder says yes. So I love these rollers. But there's also another kind. You can use this one because it gets in here. It's not too big. It's just the right size, but maybe you want to try something different. Have you ever used another type of seam roller? I'm going to show that to you. Those watching on Amazon, I'm going to highlight that in the carousel. And it's a larger seam roll. Instead of a roller, it's a seam roll. This is a seam roll. A seam roll, of course, it has instructions right here on the back, how to use it. And a seam roll is this piece of very dense material with this soft fabric on 2 sides that you can take anything that is round, like this face mask. It's round and you want to be able to press that seam. And you can use it with an iron or you can use it with this roller. You just wrap it around. Let me go to the overhead camera so you can see. So here's the seam roll instead of a roller. This is a seam roll. This is a roller. So we're going to take this seam roll and we put our face mask right on top. And you see how it snugs right along the edge of this roll. You just move it into the spot that you want. Okay, see, that works. And then once you have it in place, you take your seam roller or your iron and you can roll the seam. You can do it on either side. Let's try it with this fabric here. And so you're going to do that, hold it in place, and that's how you can press your seams that have a curve right along there. Hold that in place, and then you would just use the roller to flatten your seam. Have you ever used one of these before? A seam roll? And it comes with some pressing tips on the inside on how to use this seam roll with an iron. They show you instructions on how to use it. So that's two options to make this curve nice and flat. Okay, so Wilda has been using one of these seam rolls while she's been making masks. And so do you find this very easy to use, Wilda, over there on YouTube watching with us on Amazon? What tips do you have, Wilda, to share with us on how you use this seam roll and a roller? Do you use a roller like this or do you use an iron? What do you use, Wilda? So this is an option. Now, if you want to use an iron, you can use a large iron or you can use a small one. Have you ever heard of this small Dritz iron? It's called a mini iron. I just highlighted in the carousel. I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, I'm going to go to the host view. This is the Dritz, or the Clover, I'm sorry, Clover mini iron. This is a mini iron. And you're probably wondering, well, how does that work? It comes with several parts. You plug it in, of course. You have a nice long cord. You have this red safety guard. This center portion gets hot, so you have a safety guard. It also includes some extra tips. You need the tips that come with it, which is this one. This tip goes right inside the top, and then you screw this on, plug it in, and then you have different heat settings on it. Let's go to the overhead camera so we can get some real close-ups of what this looks like. And this comes in handy for a lot of different projects. So you get this nifty little bag. I'm going to take this off here first. Show you all the parts. So here's the iron itself. Okay, so here's the iron. You get this tip. You get this little platform to hold it when it's still plugged in and hot. You get a screwdriver. And then I got an extra tip, a large tip. This you purchase separately. This tip you purchase separately. These come with the original kit with this pouch. And of course you get instructions. You get instructions and this pouch to carry everything in. So what you do is you take your tip that comes with it and you put it right inside here. There's a screw at the top that you can hand screw before it's plugged in, of course. So Wilda says she uses an iron when she uses her seam roll. Awesome, Wilda. You just tighten that. And now this tip is ready to use. You just have to plug it in, and once it's plugged in, you use the different heat settings. There's medium in the center, low on the bottom, and then 2 clicks up to the highest position is high. So medium heat, low heat, and high heat. Once it's plugged in and you have the heat setting on, when you're not using it, this is where you get this little stand to come into play and help you keep your sewing space safe. It sits right on top of here. Let me hold this up since it's not plugged in. Let me do this here. So this section goes up and down. Once it's in this lock position, you can rest the hot portion right on top. You can see that, how that will rest right on top, so it won't damage your cutting table or anything you have on the table. It will not make contact. And then remember I mentioned this guard. This whole section gets hot. That's why there's this red guard to protect you from touching this area. You have this protective guard right here on top. So now if you're going to use this instead of a large iron, you can take out your roll. This is your seam roll. You put your mask right over that, and you can press down your seam right on the roll. I think I was off camera for that. Let me do that again. So you can press it right here, or you can use a large iron with a larger ironing board, whatever works for you. I wanted to share with you these different options that you can use supplies for making face masks. And this is one option. What do you ladies think? Aren't these tools interesting? Using a seam roll like Wilda does with a large iron, or you can use a seam roll by using a smaller mini iron for pressing your seams. I like this for multiple uses. Have you ever used one of these mini irons? Those ladies watching me on Amazon, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Say hello. Say hello. Thank you for joining me on my Wednesday live on Amazon and on YouTube. My ladies on YouTube, thank you for joining me. Now, this particular tip is a smaller tip. I wanted a large one, so you can also get an accessory, a separate accessory. I just highlighted in the carousel, and it is an adapter tip. And that's what this is. This is the Clover adapter ironing tip. It's large. You can see here on the package it says large, and you can see how big that is compared to this smaller one. So it's nice having two options. The small one that comes with the mini iron, and then you can get the accessory, this extra adapter for your mini iron. And again, there are instructions on the back on how to replace it, which is very easy. When you're done with this, of course, you let it cool off. I haven't plugged this in, so it's not hot. take that one out, and then you put this one in. Once that's in place, and of course you can put it whatever length you need. Follow the instructions that come with the iron, and now just like that you have a bigger heating surface. So this one comes with the mini iron kit, and this one is an accessory. This is the large, which is highlighted in the carousel. Oh yes, Elaine, you're right. These irons are fantastic for applique. Elaine, do you use this on iron with applique? Elaine over on YouTube has joined us. She's been here from the beginning. I'm so glad to see you here, Elaine, every single week here on Amazon and YouTube. We talk about tools for sewing and quilting projects to make our life easier. And so that sewing is not laborious and difficult. We want the right tools. And this one is a mini iron that we can use for pressing our face masks when we are making face masks with a seam roll. Move this over, put this on the rest stand. If you're just joining me, I was just demonstrating how we can use a seam roll to press our face masks, or we can use a roller. It's up to you. That's why I like to give you options. Do you want to use an iron, or do you want to use a wooden roller? It's up to you. All right, so those were the two pressing methods I wanted to share with you, using a hot iron or a roller. Now let's move on to the finishing of this mask. It's so easy to do. Let me pack away. Okay. We are down to the last few steps of this face mask. So let me go back to the overhead camera. And we are using, let's see, where is my template? Here it is. We're using this Creative Grids template. I'll highlight it in the carousel for those who are just joining on Amazon. And it makes 3 different sizes. I'm making the large size. I've already cut the lining piece out of 2 pieces of fabric. I've stitched that together, those 2 pieces. And then I have my outside piece. You take the outside and the lining piece, you put them right sides together. When you do that, you just move on to the next step to sew these together. And that looks like this. You need elastic band. The instructions show you how to attach the elastic band in between the 2 pieces. Then you're going to sew the top. After you sew the top, you're going to again clip the curve so that it lays nice and flat. Again, instructions come with the template. Once you do that, then you need to close it. You've stitched the top. Now you need to stitch the bottom, but you also need to leave an opening. So there's an opening there so I can turn it right side out. Now, I haven't clipped that, so I would take my scissors, my sewing scissors, my Ginger's scissors for fabric, and I would snip. Just very, very close, but you don't want to cut your stitches. You just do just enough to help this curve lay flat. These scissors are fantastic, aren't they? They easily clipped that fabric just using the tips. Love these scissors. I'll highlight these in the carousel. These are my fabric scissors, and they are only for fabric. They are not for paper. They are not for cardboard. And I know I share this almost every live, but I love these scissors because they get the job done. They make it easy. So you would snip all that, and then after the bottom is sewn, you have this opening. And then that's how you're going to turn it inside out. You're going to turn the outside of it to that's on the inside now. You're going to reach in there and go for that elastic. See, the elastic is here and here. Reach in for that elastic and pull. Do it gently. You don't want to rip your stitches. This Creative Grids template makes it so easy to make a mask quickly. I'll highlight it again in the carousel for those watching on Amazon. So you have a face mask now with elastic bands for your ears, all tucked in and sewn. Again, these instructions are in the packet that comes with the Creative Grids ruler or template, Creative Grids template. So now that wasn't too hard, right? I was able to easily turn that. And there's a little opening right here. That's how we turned it to the right side. We had a little opening on the bottom. Once this is pressed, you're just going to do a top stitch all the way around. And then when you do that, this opening will close. So top stitch all the way around. And your face mask is going to be complete. Of course, you'll press that and it will look fantastic. Let me show you some masks that I have completed. So here's one. Using this template, I made this mask here. Isn't that fun? I used some fun focus fabric for the outside. And this is a little different in that I made a pocket for this one. This one has not only a lining, but a pocket. I just cut this 3 times. Early in the demo, I showed you how you put 2 layers together and you cut 2 right sides together for the lining and 2 right sides together for the outside. So you get this side and this side when you cut for both the lining and the outside fabric. If you do it a 3rd time, then you can fold over the edge and add a pocket if you want to put a filter on the inside. So this one has 3 layers. This was just a little extra thing that I did. Do you like to have a filter? What's that, Elaine? On the little pieces. Oh, yes, you use those small little mini irons for the little pieces for the applique. Perfect. So this one has a pocket for a filter. The pattern doesn't include that, but you can add that. This is one that is exactly as made according to the pattern. Of course, if you're just joining me, I added this extra step of top stitch right here in the front. But I also used a nice little focus fabric with some arrows on it. And I used that beautiful banded elastic by Shabby Fabrics. I'll highlight that in the carousel. This one is the pastel. Doesn't that match perfectly? What do you ladies think? This is from the Brights. This banded elastic is from the Bright pack, and then this one is pastel. And they match perfectly. I just love how those came out. And then this is another one with pastel elastic. Then it's brights and pastels. This is the bright orange. These are the 2 pastel colors. What do you ladies think of these focus fabrics that I used? Very unique and different, huh? Okay, Elaine, you say you iron lightweight interfacing onto the outer layer of some of your masks and they washed well. Good idea. I like that. There's so many different ways that we can make our own masks. And I want to share with you different tools that I've used. And I think every time I make a new one, I try something different to see if I have a better preference. And so far, when I tested these and put these on, I like these banded elastic. They're soft and they feel nice around my ear. I don't feel like they're digging into my ear. And then there's a little pleat here on this very end. So it's a nice snug fit. You can do it with or without the pleat. I found that I needed the pleat. And again, this is in the template. It shows you right here where you would put the pleat. Hello, Cassie. Thank you, Cassie, for following. Thank you so much on Amazon. So glad you're here and enjoying this session on DIY masks, face masks. How we can make our own face mask with a template like this one from Creative Grids, which I'll highlight in the carousel. Or you can make a paper template. If you're just joining me now on YouTube or Amazon, watch the replay because in the beginning, I talk about how you can use a paper template and make it a little bit firmer using freezer paper. If you've never seen that technique before, check that out. Yes, Elaine wants to see the package of the banded plastics. These are the options for the banded plastics. I'll do it overhead. This is the pastel. I'll highlight this again in the carousel. This is the pastel, and you get 8 different colors. Nice colors. It comes in this pouch. And this is the peach that I used on this mask. I used this peach on this mask. I put a little thing around there, but this is the peach. And each one of these is 4 yards. Okay, so that's the pastels. This is the neutrals with blacks, grays, beige, and then white. Again, it's 4 yards of each one. And they are so soft to the touch. They were recommended to me by a friend. She has been using them. Right, Wilda? So that's that one. I haven't used any of these yet. But I did use some of the brights. I'll highlight this in the carousel. This is the bright. You see the difference between the bright and the pastel. Which one do you like? These bold, bright colors or these soft? I thought I would prefer these mostly, but I like them all. I'm so thankful that I have all 3. So I can match it to the fabric that I choose to use. So for the brights, I did use it on this mask here. So I used this bright orange. I'll open that up so you can see that. This is the bright orange. And again, it's 4 yards of each. That's a lot of banded elastic. And it's very strong and sturdy. I like these. Wilda says her and her husband both love the banded elastic. It doesn't work well against your ears. It's nice and soft. It doesn't dig into your ears. Is that why you like it? Why? What's the difference for you? For you and your husband, Wilda. Interested to know that. Okay. So of course, I like to put things back in the package nice and neatly, but that doesn't look too neat, does it? I'll fix it later. Oh, do you laugh at yourself at some of your habits that you have? I have these habits of trying to put things back neatly. So 3 different sets of colors on these banded elastic. I think these are fantastic. So love these. All right, I think I've shared just about everything on these. This is the mask that I made with the Creative Grids template. This template is fantastic for making masks very quickly. 3 different sizes with this Creative Grid mask template. And I've made several, and I'm all set to go. Here's another one. Fun little pattern, very modern looking. All right, let's take a look in the carousel. This is not, it is and it isn't related to mask making, but I wanted to share with you first, let me backtrack. The lining fabric. Let me go back to the overhead camera. I want to show you this beautiful lining fabric. It's called Bee Cross. And it is this beautiful fabric by Riley Blake. It's called Bee Cross by Lori Holt. Let me hold it up. Nice neutral fabrics and nice pastel fabric right here. This is Bee Cross, and I love this fabric line. I actually have it back here. Let me show it to you. So here's the red. I used this taupe color for one of the masks. And here's the peach. And I used blue. Now I have yardage here, but on Amazon you can get a sampling of each one of these in a fat quarter, a stack of fat quarters. So pretty, Wilder says. Thank you. You like my masks. Thank you, Elaine and Wilder on there on YouTube. So I was able to match the fabric lining for my outside patterns very easily with this line of Bee Cross fabric. I loved how I was able to match the colors that I wanted to go with each of these. I like the neutral one, that taupe color. I didn't have the orange. Now there's a rainbow of colors available in this Bee Cross fabric. Rainbow of colors. And that's one reason why I like it. And the pattern in it is just simple enough for a lining. So I like that. Where's the blue? Oh, here it is. This is the one that I just showed you on. I just opened up, so it's not pressed yet, but it's still beautiful colors. And then there's the dark blue banded. I don't know if I showed that to you, but anyway, this is the Bee Cross fabric. Love that fabric. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. It's gonna be fun. I've made these masks specifically to wear next month. I'll be traveling and I wanted to make something special for this trip. And so all 3 of these are made specifically for the 3 different days that I'm going to be away at a special event. So I think that's the other thing that's nice about making face masks yourself, is that you can make them specific to events, to things that you enjoy and that you like. And this template just makes it so much easier. Okay, so I talked about the fabric. I wanted to make sure I did that. And what else? I know what. I need a drink. For those of you just watching for the first time here on Amazon or even on YouTube, this is my favorite mug. And ladies, thank you who have been here before, who hear me talk about this mug every show. I love it. It keeps your beverage hot or cold. Right now, I have hot tea in it. It helps me when I'm talking for a long time, and I've been talking for about an hour now. But it has this nice clip on the, to close nice and tight, so it won't spill. Snaps in place. So it's perfect to have around my computer. And then it has this suction for anti-spill. So when it goes on the table, that will stick to the table because of the suction on the bottom. So I love this red copper mug. That's what it's called, red copper. And I highlighted it in the carousel on Amazon if you are interested. All right. Now I'm going to do a little departure from the face mask, because as I was doing the face mask, I realized that I needed something else during the day. And have you ever heard of Goo Gone? Goo Gone. This is a staple in my home. I always use Goo Gone. I'm going to highlight it in the carousel. Who uses Goo Gone? Have you heard of it? Do you know what it does? It's a lifesaver. I'm looking down, ladies, on YouTube because I'm trying to find it on the carousel. I know I put it in here on Amazon. Let's see. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Oh, there you go. Goo Gone is a staple. This takes away adhesive. You know when you use tape or anything that has a sticky, leaves a sticky residue potentially? Sometimes when we use our scissors, not with fabric, but with our cutting scissors for paper or other things, you can get glue on your scissors. How do you get the glue off? What do you use? I use Goo Gone to get the glue off of my scissors, to clean them up. And I love it. Now, there's also other tools in my sewing room that I use a tape. I use a tape on this that over time it leaves glue residue, and then I have to clean it off and then put another layer of tape on it. And I want to show you how this works, removing glue from tape. It's fantastic. Let's go to the overhead camera. So this is Goo Gone, glue and adhesive remover. So Wilda says she loves Goo Gone. Yep, she keeps some upstairs and downstairs. It's a must-have in her home. I agree, a must-have. So I like to use some kind of glass surface when I am, or acrylic surface, to remove what I need to remove. And in this case, I have a piece of tape here that's been on this sewing tool, this quilting tool, for a long time, and I need to replace it. So I'm taking it off here. And this has all kinds of glue on it. Let's see if you can see that. If I can rotate it in the camera a little bit. Yeah, right there. You can see a little bit of that glue. It's right there. And there's some right here. So I got some Q-tips for my Goo Gone. Now I like to just put a little itty bitty hole at the top, so I can just get just enough. Oh, Elaine, it gets rid of basting spray. Yes, off your kitchen floor. Goo Gone is fantastic. So both of you ladies know what I'm talking about with this Goo Gone. So I just, with that one little hole and using a Q-tip, I can start to remove the glue. You don't need a lot of it. See, it's almost gone already, that glue residue. Now I've used one side with the Goo Gone. Now I'll use the dry side to pick up the remaining residue. So that's one Q-tip for this area, and it depends on how much glue residue you have. But in this case, I don't need a lot, so that's gone. And then I'll just take a paper towel and wipe that. Ah, that looks good. That looks good. Let's see if you can see that better with the paper towel behind it. That is good. So you can see there's still glue on this side. A little bit of glue on this side. Can you see that? All right, there. I'm going to get rid of that. Okay, that's plenty. So I'm rubbing that. And depending upon how much glue you have is how much Goo Gone you're going to use. You really don't need to use a lot. So that is almost gone. Yeah, that looks great. So get my paper towel. That looks wonderful. All that glue is gone. Hopefully I'll tilt it so that you can see it. Hopefully you can see that it's gone. Nice and clean. Love that. Now I can put this back in place and I can put a fresh piece of tape on it. I use this for my quilting, and this is bandage tape that I use because I need to be able to remove this when I need to, but put it back in place when I need to. So now that is all ready to go. I can use this because it's now on a nice clean surface. Using glue, I keep saying glue, but it's Goo Gone. Goo Gone. I love Goo Gone. Take away any glue residue from surfaces on any tools, floors, like Elaine said, or from scissors. If you ever cut something with a lot of glue on it and you get the glue residue on scissors, Goo Gone will take it off. Easy to do. Easy peasy, as they would say. All right. Putting that down over there. So, I think that's it for tonight, ladies. Thank you so much for being here with me to look at all the different supplies I use for making face masks and some of the cutting tools that I love to use and the rotary cutting mats. Those are all located in the carousel for those of you watching on Amazon. I also want to share with you this one little tip. We all, I think, by now have a smartphone, right? This last tip, I have been wanting a smartphone holder, and there's all kinds, right? We sew some smartphone holders, but sometimes we need something a little bit different. So I got a new one, and it came in this little box here. And in the box, it came in this little pouch, and it has these extra stoppers that came with it. But right now, my phone is sitting in that stand. Here is the stand. I'll highlight it in the carousel. It's holding my phone. And it has this hole in the back so you can put your charging cord in the back. And now it's connected to my phone. And you can rest your phone vertically, or you can rest it horizontally. It has these little grips. Oh, not really grips. It's like a shelf. Put it that way. It's like a shelf. Can you see that right there and here? There's two arms. And there's a little bit of rubber here so that makes contact with your phone to make it sit inside. I like this little stand. Is that fantastic? I didn't think it was going to work because I look at least work vertically, because I thought, well, that's too short. But it works. It's just the right height. I didn't think that this was tall enough to hold up my phone, but it is. It holds it up perfectly. So if you need to have a stand for, like I use it vertically when I'm here live on Amazon and YouTube. But if I'm watching a movie or a video, I can put it horizontal. And it's all plugged in and charged and ready to go. You are welcome, Elaine. Oh, that's right. You need to get to bed. It's late there. Over there in you're in Ireland, right? Did I get that correct? The main ingredient in Goo Gone says, it has an oily residue. Yes, you want to make sure you thoroughly clean everything after you use Goo Gone. I usually wrap it up in something. Those Q-tips are all wrapped up in here, and I usually put it inside another container. That's why I have just that small little hole so that I don't overuse it and it gets everywhere. But I just love this little stand. Isn't this neat? I like this. Let me show you in the overhead camera. Hopefully I can reach it over. I'll do that. Okay, so here's the stand. Came in this box. It has rubber feet on the bottom. Cell phone stand. It has these two arms, and there's little grip pads right here on the bottom. See the grip pad here? There's a grip pad there. 1, 2, and 3 for the phone, and then this is for the table. And you get replacements for those. And so it comes with the pack. You get a little thank you card, and you get replacements. So these would replace the ones on the bottom if they happen to wear out. And then you have some replacements for here and for here, or if you need just extra grip. This hole in the back makes it easy to put your charging cord through it. So you just rest your phone right on top, and your cord will come right through this hole. Your cord's going to come through the hole to your charger, to the bottom of your phone. So it's going to come through this hole in the back. See if I can pull this over some more. There we go. Maybe that's better. Do it this way. So that's the hole in the back. And then you bring your charging cord through there. And then you're going to connect it to your phone right here. Very easy. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. Like it a lot. Fabulous holder. All right, that is it for tonight. I think I covered everything. Just let's take a double look here through the carousel. Yeah, I think so. I covered the printer that I use. I love my Epson printer, my favorite paper scissors. Scotland, Elaine. Okay, Scotland. Thank you for watching. Get a good rest tonight. Elaine over there on YouTube. I'll see you in a couple of days. Um, and good night. So glad you were here. And it's my pleasure to help you with tools for making face masks. Our DIY face masks. So these are my favorite scissors for paper and cutting. They're the titanium scissors by Fiskars. Love these scissors. I'll highlight them in the carousel again for those just joining. I'm Geraldine Wilkins, the Living Water Quilter. I come here every Wednesday, 7 p.m. to share with you sewing and quilting tools to make your sewing and quilting projects easy and fun so that you don't have frustration. The right tool makes a difference. And so even our cutting tools, scissors for paper, scissors for fabric. These are the Ginger scissors for fabric, fabric only. I'll highlight these in the carousel. These are the cutting tools. Okay, here we go. That's highlighted. Then I like good rotary cutters. This is a 28 millimeter for curves, sharp curves, sharp angles, and this is a 45. Both of these work well together for most projects. This one was fantastic for our mask tonight because we had that curve on the template. And this curve right here on the template, this was perfect for cutting the fabric. This 28 millimeter. And we also talked about, what else? I think that's it. Yep, I covered pretty much everything. Thank you for joining me. Follow, like, join me next week, Wednesday, here on Amazon. Every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Quilt Conversations Live. We talk about sewing and quilting tools to help make our projects fun and easy. The right tool matters. Why use the end of a pair of scissors to hammer a nail when you can use a hammer? That's my philosophy. Use the right tools so that you can finish your projects with fun and success. And we talked about masks tonight. Some great tools, all at the bottom of the carousel. The tools that you can use to make masks. Make your own template with paper or buy a template. Use cord for the ears or over your head, or use elastic band. What's your preference? Find the tools for the masks that you make for yourself, your family, and your friends right here on Amazon. Thank you for watching, ladies. I'll see you next time on Amazon Live. Thank you for joining me, ladies, over there on YouTube. See you soon. I'm Geraldine Wilkins, the Living Water Quilter.